Hello and welcome to this edition of the Laurier News. My name is Keina Hua, a student at Rosemere High, and I am excited to share with you a few initiatives and projects that have been happening at the Sir Wilfrid Laurier School Board. In the past few months, we have been working on several green initiatives to save the planet and lower our carbon imprint. In this edition, we will talk about the renovations that have been done in our buildings to reduce energy consumption and, by extension, reducing our greenhouse gas emissions, also known as GHG. Here is Alexia Alexander from Pinewood Elementary.
Thank you, Keina. As Keina mentioned, a lot of work has been done in the last 18 months to make our schools and center more energy efficient. The Sir Wilfrid Laurier School Board recently invested $7.1 million in a major project to improve the energy performance of our buildings. To help us better understand what this all means, I spoke with Matt Yaremko from Ecosystem who worked on the project. Ecosystem specializes in the transformation and modernization of energy infrastructures. Hello, Matt. Happy you could be with us today. In a few words, can you describe the renovation projects that were made to improve our building's energy performance?
It's hard to describe in a few words because we did work in 21 schools, and each school is very different, and the solutions we implemented there were all pretty different one from the other. But in general, most schools are heated using gas boilers. So what we did is we installed electric boilers and heat pumps, which are not only more efficient than gas boilers, but also, of course, more eco-friendly because of hydroelectricity here in Quebec. So both of those converted the energy consumption and the heating of schools from gas to electricity. And then in schools where we weren't able to do that, we replaced old gas boilers that were highly inefficient by gas boilers that were significantly more efficient when they were burning their natural gas. So that increased the efficiency from 75% to 95% in these boilers.
What are the benefits for the students and staff of having made these improvements?
So the main improvement that would be most visible to students and staff on a day-to-day basis would be that we changed all the lighting in the classrooms, the hallways, and the offices from normal lighting to LEDs. So the light from LEDs tends to be more pleasant for occupants, and then it also reduces the energy consumption of the building significantly. Also in the gyms of 5 schools, we converted the lighting to LEDs as well. But we also repositioned where the lights were in the gym to increase overall visibility in the gyms. On a less of a day-to-day basis, we also worked with the control systems, which should help to keep the whole school at a more comfortable temperature, not having hot spots and cold spots, and keeping everything at a stable temperature. And then finally, as kind of the last resort, because we installed electric boilers and heat pumps, the school now has a built-in redundancy in their heating systems. So if ever a gas boiler was to break down, we would still be able to heat the school with the electric boiler while waiting for the repairs to happen on the gas boiler.
Why is this type of project important?
So one of the main goals of this project was to reduce the school board's carbon footprint by heating the school with electricity instead of natural gas. So this project will cut the energy consumption in the 21 schools by about 25% in total. And then in this, it will also cut the greenhouse gas emissions of these schools by about 66%. So both pretty significant numbers. And with the recent announcement by the Canadian government with the goal of Canada to cut carbon emissions by 40% by 2030, projects like this one are very important.
This is very interesting. Thank you, Matt, for taking the time to explain the great work on our buildings. This is Alexia Alexander from Pinewood Elementary School reporting for the Laurier News. Back to you, Keina.
Thank you, Alexia, for the interview. Not only have investments been made on our infrastructure, but a lot of initiatives have been happening in our schools and in our centers. Students and staff members have been hard at work on environmental initiatives that will not only help the environment, but also help students better understand how even the smallest of action can help us move in the right direction. Here is Alejandro Gutierrez reporting.
Thank you, Kiana. In the spring of 2020, Laval Junior Academy, in collaboration with the City of Laval's Environment Department, transplanted trees and bushes on the property to help regreen the neighborhood and reduce urban heat islands. A total of 162 trees and more than 100 shrubs and perennials were planted during this initiative, or the first phase of the project. I spoke with Laurier, who collaborated on this project. What were the goals of this project?
The first goal was to reduce the heat islands in the Laval downtown core. The second goal was to increase biodiversity by planting different types and essence of trees, plants, and shrubs. And the third goal was to increase pollination, to increase the activity of bees and wasps in the area through the different fruit trees and flowering plants that were installed.
So what is the outcome? Did you meet your goals?
Yes, we did. However, there will be a second phase to this project to increase the plants. It will help quite a bit, and the idea is to replace some of the many trees that have died because of insects.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Louise Robineau, for your involvement with this inspiring initiative. Next up is my fellow student, Elizabeth Bonicel from Pierre Elliott Trudeau Elementary School, who will inform you on our initiatives in other schools across the Sir Wilfrid Laurier School Board. This is Alejandro Gutierrez reporting from Laval Junior Academy.
Earth Day is almost here. On April 22nd, many activities will take place in our schools and centers, whereby students will help Mother Earth. As always, our students do small actions each year to highlight and contribute to this important day for everyone living on this planet, Earth. And this year will be no different. Last year, students cleaned up their schoolyard, wrote Earth Day promises, made murals, decorated their walls with Earth-themed artwork, and planted more trees. Some schools even have implemented initiatives that last year-round, like composting, having reusable cutlery, recycling, and gardening. Join in this year's Earth Day celebrations. What are you gonna do this year? This is Elizabeth Bonicel reporting from Pierre Elliott Trudeau Elementary School. Back to you, Kana. Thank you, Elizabeth. As you can see, this edition of the Laurier News was all about the environment and many local initiatives that will reduce our carbon footprint. As you can see behind me, the investment made in our school to improve energy consumption allowed RHS to reduce energy consumption by 25% and reduce greenhouse gas emissions by 64%. Those are major reductions. Thank you for tuning in. This is Kay Nahua from Rosemere High School, and I'll see you next time.